The Angels offense explodes for the first time in a while, and it's all for nothing. An awful, ugly Tyler Anderson start and some pretty bad bullpen pitching as well sink the Angels and hand them another disappointing, tight loss. We'll talk about it on tonight's edition of the Locked On Angels Postcast right now.
You are Locked On Angels Postcast, part of Locked On Sports Los Angeles, on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Hello, Halo Nation. Hello, Halo hopefuls, and hello, Postcast people, and welcome to the latest edition of the Locked On Angels Postcast, coming at you live, as always, on the Locked On Sports Los Angeles YouTube channel, and after the fact, wherever you get the Locked On Angels podcast feed. If you don't know who I am, I'm Gavin Carlson. Hello. I'm a former credentialed journalist in the Los Angeles area. I've been covering sports in LA, specifically UCLA sports for a while with the Daily Bruin, and I've now been a part of the Locked On Podcast Network, where it's your team every day, and our team is the Angels, and boy, our Angels lose a tough one, an exciting one, but a tough one tonight, 9-7 in Houston against those Trash Astros. The offense looked really, really good. Just about everybody in this lineup looked really good. Everyone who started this game for the Angels with a hit, a couple of guys with really strong hitting performances. So it should be a really positive night, right? But no, an absolute awful, ugly start from Tyler Anderson. Some poor bullpen pitching as well. It all leads to a disappointing, high-scoring, but disappointing loss for our Angels. They fought for sure, as Roger says. He says those kids fought. Yeah, specifically some of the young hitters, they certainly gave it their all. I sound like I'm talking about like kindergartners. They gave it their all, but that's the current state of affairs for the Angels. We give players credit for playing hard. The offense specifically, though, after the team falls behind 6-1, they score 5 runs combined in the next 2 innings. So really impressive performance from the offense. 13 hits, but it's all for nothing because they give up 14 because Tyler Anderson has another poor start. And so we always like to talk about the future on this show, specifically late in this season when we're obviously playing for nothing. And a huge part of that is, of course, talking about the young guys. We will get to the young hitters, but a huge part of that is also talking about Tyler Anderson. And if it's time to be a little bit concerned about Tyler Anderson, because he has not been great at all in his last handful of starts. But before we jump into this one, a shout out to everybody in here. Appreciate you guys so much. You all know I do this show largely because of you guys. So shout out to everybody in here. I see some of the familiar faces. Continue to leave comments. I respond to the comments live on the show. Leave a like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Make sure you follow or subscribe to my own personal channel, specifically UCLA Sports channel right now. It's GAV, just those 3 letters, pretty easy. You could also look up Gavin_Carlson on YouTube, and it'll pop up as well. But enough of all the plugs. Quick shout out to the sponsor of today's show. It is FanDuel. Now through September 22nd, all FanDuel customers can bet $5 and get a 3-week free trial of NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. Now, where we break this one down, begin this breakdown, is with Tyler Anderson. We will get to the Angels having a great offensive performance, but the Angels lost this game. And I know I don't always talk about the reason they lost this game. I usually talk about the biggest story for the Angels, whether it's a guy breaking out, since we're looking for the future. But it's a rare case where the future and the present, this game, are all, the biggest story is the same thing. It's Tyler Anderson, because this is a guy who's supposed to be the ace of this team next year, a guy who we all know should have been traded at the deadline, and a guy we were yelling to be traded at the deadline, for some people, like me at least, because we had this fear that the deadline was the best, trade value he's ever going to have. And that was the time to trade him. And surely enough, since the trade deadline, he has not been the guy who earned an all-star nod. And today, he showed you just why, for some characteristic reasons and for some uncharacteristic reasons. He just goes 2 2/3 innings, gives up 8 hits, gives up 6 runs. Now, only 3 of them are earned. Oh, wait, Gavin, he only gave up 3 earned runs. Surely a bunch of other guys made errors, right? The error was by Tyler Anderson. So this is one of those things where, no, it's 6 earned runs, okay? It's not going to say it, but it's 6 earned runs. The other runs he gave up that weren't earned were because of him and his mistake. So this one solely falls on Tyler Anderson, those 6 runs. And while the bullpen did give up some costly runs, Rosenberg specifically giving up 2 runs in this one, and then Contreras giving up a run as well. Yes, the Angels lost by 2, and those bullpen guys gave up 3 runs combined. But this game was basically over after the 4th inning when the Angels were down, or after the 3rd inning, when the Angels were down 6-1. And Tyler Anderson's responsible for those 6 runs, regardless of what anybody says. If you missed this one, Houston started in the bottom of the 2nd inning. Bad pitching by Tyler Anderson. No other way to put it. He gives up a single to Yainer Diaz to lead off the inning, a 6th pitch at bat. This is not one of his worst pitches of the game at all. It's a changeup way outside on 2-2, and just an absolute weak little blooper from Diaz. Rough start to the 2nd. You always have bad vibes when the leadoff guy gets on, specifically in a cheesy way like that. And the bad vibes quickly turn awful because then Tyler Anderson takes just 4 pitches to hit Jeremy Pena 0-2. You get to 0-2 on 3 straight foul balls, and then you throw a cutter up and in that drills him. Not good. Then Caratini comes up. He hits a single. Again, not a terrible pitch, a 1-1 cutter inside. Not ripped either, but hit decently well, 83.8 exit velo into left field. And just like that, it's 2nd and 3rd with 1 out. Now from there, or with nobody out, and that's the problem, because Tyler Anderson gets a gift. He gets a gift here. He throws a changeup right down the middle. Jake Myers pops it up. You're thinking he's going to maybe get out of this one. He gets his first out of the inning. But surely enough, Dubon does come through. Another long at-bat, 8 pitches. Tyler Anderson did not have his strikeout stuff tonight. And eventually on the 8th pitch, a changeup at the knees. Dubon he hits a fly ball into left center field. Only 288 feet. But with noodle arm Taylor Ward there in left field, it's surely deep enough to score the run on the sac fly. Now, Anderson did get out of the inning, and the Angels did respond. We'll get to that later. A couple young, no-name guys coming through and tying this game at 1. But then things all fall apart in the 3rd inning. A leadoff strikeout against Alvarez, but Tucker singles, and then Bregman crushes a home run, and I mean crushes, 421 feet, a 1-1 fastball right down the middle, inexcusable from Tyler Anderson, and Bregman destroys it. Then he doesn't show any of the resilience that we saw earlier in the year from him. We know he's not going to always, force weak contact, always keep guys off the bases. But Tyler Anderson, early in the year, he was resilient. Not tonight. Gives up the home run, then immediately gives up a 0-2 fastball right down the middle, base hit to Yainer Diaz. This one was ripped, unlike his previous hit. Then Pena reaches on an error from Tyler Anderson. Once again, he throws an up and in cutter to Pena. Once again, but this time Pena swings at it, hits weak contact right to Tyler Anderson, and he makes a throw and error, trying to throw the ball, trying to get the lead runner, and just throws the ball away. Just throws it away, and everyone's safe. Obviously, Diaz gets the 3rd, Pena gets the 2nd. And once again, though, it looks like Anderson might get out of it. He gets a pop-up, another high and in cutter, this one to Caratini. So there's 2 outs. There's 2 runners on. Anderson has a chance to get out of this. But what does he do again? He throws another changeup way too high in the zone. This one's not right down the middle, but basically it's, in inner half of the plate, but kind of right in the wheelhouse for a righty in Jake Myers, a changeup right there. And once again, absolutely ripped. This one, a line drive, a screamer, 105.9 exit velo. Previously, or was called the home run. They reviewed it. They upheld it. 350 feet is what it says, but this ball was crushed. It was just a low line drive. They weren't sure if it got out. Just like that, it's 6-1 Astros, and this game's over. I mean, the Angels actually end up putting up 7 runs, which is making my statement ironic. But how many times have the Angels fall behind early in games and not come back, right? All the time. And it's time we have a conversation about Tyler Anderson a little bit, because in his previous starts, he has not been great. His previous start before this one, where he gave up, this one he gives up 6 runs. I don't care if it says 3 earned. He gave up 6 runs. The previous start, he gives up 4 runs on 7 hits against the Astros 6 days ago. He has a decent start against the Rangers, where a pretty darn good start, actually. He only gives up 1 hit in 5 innings, 2 runs, only 1 of them earned. He did walk 2, but he also struck out 7. His ERA in his 3 starts through the month of September is 5.68, and that's not even including the 3 runs tonight that weren't earned. But let's talk about his ERA last month in August, because that's when the concerns really started. Like really, really started. I mean, just remember how good he was early in the year. April, the ERA, 2.23. In May, 2.73. In June, not the best, 4.15, but he responds in July. Only 4 starts, but 2.7 ERA. But in August, a 5.97 ERA. Against the Mets, 3 earned runs in 5. Good start against the Yankees, but then against the Blue Jays, gives up 7 earned runs. Against the Royals, 5 runs, 4 earned, 11 hits in 6 innings. Gives up 2 runs against the Blue Jays once again in an okay start, and then gives up 4 earned runs in just 4 innings. He's not going the distance. He did not pitch into the 7th inning in any start in the month of August, and he did not get through more than 6 innings in any start there. Has not gotten through more than 5 innings in a start so far in September. So it's really concerning from him. The walks are kind of all over the place. He walked 16 guys last month after only walking 2 in July. Right? He had a bad start or month in June because he walked 18. And honestly, the walk numbers have been pretty high every month, in the teens in the 2 months before that, where he was actually pretty good. But the main concern is that it's not just that he's not pitching well, but it's that we all predicted this. We all predicted this. And it's the reason they should have traded him at the deadline. We all predicted this. So it's really concerning, and it's frustrating because we told this team to get rid of him at the deadline. It was a no-brainer. We were going to get a couple guys back, a couple really good guys. He was an all-star pitcher at the time, a lefty starting pitcher. Certainly there was a market there. I don't care if Perry Managian says it wasn't good enough. How does it look now? Because Tyler Anderson is not giving us confidence going into next year. And that's what I keep saying. The month of September, while it's a useless month for the season, it's a huge month in terms of evaluating players. If they have a huge month in September, you forget what they did in August. You forget what they did in July. Because if they had a huge September, or maybe a great end of August and then September, you forget what they did in July and June, because this is leading forward to next year. It's why we're suddenly feeling better about Taylor Ward and a lot worse about Logan O'Hoppe all of a sudden. At the beginning of the season, it was the complete opposite. The middle of the season, it was complete opposite. So really concerned about Tyler Anderson. We'll get into how the rest of the game went with the pitching a little bit. Kenny Rosenberg gave up 2 runs. Contreras gave up 1. And then we'll get to the offense. We're going to take our first break here, though. We'll be right back here on the Locked On Sports Los Angeles YouTube channel. This is the Locked On Angels Postcast. I'll be right back. Now, today's show is brought to you by the great people, the people that we always love to talk about, eBay Motors, because passion, drive, and patience, the formula for winning championships, is also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance. Superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to make your car the MVP and bring home huge wins. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay Guaranteed Fit only available to U.S. customers. Back here live on the Locked On Sports Los Angeles YouTube channel. This is the Locked On Angels Postcast. I am Gavin Carlson. Angels fall this tonight in what was an exciting game. You scored 7 runs. We don't see that often for the Angels, but they gave up 9 largely because of 6 runs given up by Tyler Anderson. Only 3 of them are earned, but the other 3 were basically earned because it was a Tyler Anderson error that led to those being unearned. But he gives up 2 home runs in that 3rd inning, a 5-run 3rd inning for the Astros after already giving up a run in the 2nd inning. So brutal start for Anderson. He's now 10-14. And earlier in the year when he had a around 500 record, it was not fair. He was pitching great, and we all felt bad for him. But since the All-Star break, since the trade deadline, it's fallen apart. The ERA is all the way up to 3.7, so it's not been a good year, and he's 10-14. It's not been a terrible year at all. I mean, 3.7 is okay. Hector Neris is 10-5 with a 3.63 ERA. It's still been a majority good year for Tyler Anderson. I don't want to over-exaggerate too much, but the end of the season is what I meant. Has not been good at all, and it's really dampening the mood, and underselling what has been a good season overall, an all-star season from Tyler Anderson. So that's unfortunate. The Angels did come back in this one a couple times. We'll get to that in a second, but real quick, we'll say what happened otherwise. Pitching, the Angels gave up 2 more runs in the 4th inning after Anderson was pulled for Rosenberg. Rosenberg actually came in for Tyler Anderson in the bottom of the 3rd, immediately gets Jose Altuve to pop up, but then does not have a good bottom of the 4th. Leadoff walk, always going to kill you. Then a single to Tucker. It's 1st and 3rd with nobody out. Gives up a single to Bregman. It's 7-3 Astros. Then gives up another single to Diaz. An absolute disastrous start starts the inning for Rosenberg. Gives up 2 runs. Gives up 3 singles and 2 runs before he gets an out, thanks to a leadoff walk. He does get a force out from Pena and then a double play from Caratini to survive the inning. But by then, you're already down 8-3, and this game is feeling over. Contreras ends up giving 1 more run for the Angels in the bottom of the 6th inning. He came in, had a good 5th. He gave up 1 single, but it was okay. But he gives up a leadoff home run in the bottom of the 6th to Kyle Tucker. Not a great pitch at all. 0-1 slider, hung right down the middle. Tucker crushes it. It's 9-6. Now let's get to the offense, because there were certainly some encouraging things to the offense. Number 1 being, how about Wagaman, man? You see the question on the right there. Wagaman might be legit, man. He's now hitting 282. The OPS is over 820. I know it's only been 39 at-bats. I know he only has 11 hits. I know he's barely played any games, just 10 games for this guy. But man, outside of yesterday, he has been pretty darn good, right? Outside of yesterday and his first 3 games. His first 3 games, he went 0 for 8 with the strikeout. So not good at all, right? But then since then, a 1 for 4 against Houston, a 2 for 4 against Houston with 2 doubles, then a 1 for 4 performance against the White Sox, but he does hit his first career home run, then makes it back-to-back games with a home run against the White Sox. So, got to use that asterisk, but he goes 3 for 4 with a home run, 6 total bases, 2 RBIs, heck of a game there. Had an off day on the 18th where he goes 1 for 6 in that long game. And then yesterday was not great at all, 0 for 4 with 2 strikeouts, but then responds tonight, 3 for 5, 4 total bases because he has a double, 2 RBIs. He strikes out once, okay. He does have 10 strikeouts in 39 at-bats, but he also has 11 hits in 39 at-bats. He also has 4 doubles in 39 at-bats, 2 home runs in 39 at-bats. So I'm impressed. He's hitting 282. He's a very, a relatively old rookie. He's 27 years old as a rookie. But he's a big guy, 6'4", and he's able to hold the, he's able to swing that bat, swing that wand, as my dad likes to say. He's swinging that wand pretty darn well early on in his career, so shout out to him. Certainly a bright spot there. But yeah, the Angels put up a run in the 3rd that didn't have to do with Wagaman. A 1-out triple from Gustavo Campero. How about that? His first career triple, I believe. Yes, his first career triple, just his 6th career hit. He's hitting 300 through his first 20 at-bats. I know he's barely played. Another 27-year-old rookie from Colombia, but we'll take it. Gets an 0-1 changeup from Verlander, and he crushes it down the right field line. He's got the speed as a small 5'6" guy. He better have the speed, and he does. Churns all the way to 3rd. And then Jack Lopez, another guy who is not in the Angels' future, most likely. I mean, this one, he's not a rookie making a random appearance. This guy's 31 and has barely played any games in the big leagues. But he's able to come through with an RBI single. Got to give him his credit. Puts the Angels on the board, ties the game. From there, the Angels do nothing in the 3rd. From there, the Angels fall behind big time, 6-1, thanks to that disastrous inning, right when the game is tied. But how many times have we seen this lineup blow it, tie it, then the pitching blows it, and then the lineup crumbles? All the time, but not today, because right after they fall behind 6-1, top of the 4th, 1-out walk from Pilar. Cavadas does strike out. It's now 2 outs. Kevin Pilar steals 2nd, and a 2-out RBI single from Wagaman. Really impressive at bat, 2-2. All the pitches from Verlander outside. Clearly that's in their scouting report. But a 2-2 slider down and away outside of the zone. And Wagaman rips it, 90-mile-an-hour exit velo. It's a ground ball, but it gets through. And just like that, it's 6-2. Look at that rhyme. That wasn't intentional. But from there, the Angels keep it going. Matt Dice singles. He's in for Ohapi. Love that. Ohapi needs to maybe sit down the rest of the season, figure out what's wrong with him. Matt Dice gets a single. Then Campero gets hit by a pitch. It's first and third, the bases are loaded with 2 outs, and Jack Lopez comes through again with another RBI. If he was young, if he wasn't 31, this would be a story, but he's 31. I don't think he's a part of the future. He's an infielder. We're hoping to have Neto and Christian Moore manning those spots for a while, but he has a great at-bat, 7 pitches, 2-2, 4 straight foul balls after the 2-0 count before he finally hits another down and away slider for a base hit. Another impressive piece of hitting for the Angels. You're only able to get 1 run with the bases loaded on that base hit, but it's 6-3. They're right back in the game. Unfortunately, they fall behind 8-3. So when the Angels then come up in the 5th, get back-to-back singles from Neto and Shanuel, and then a 2-out once again RBI double. This one an RBI double from Wagaman. So two out RBIs from Wagaman. Very impressive. This one, a high fastball, not a down and away slider, a high fastball from Verlander, who continued to throw only outside pitches to him. And he ripped this one even more impressively, 103.8 exit velo, liner to left center field. And just like that, it's 8-4. They're right back in the game. Verlander gets pulled, but Dice keeps it going. Second and third, he gets a sinker right down the middle from King, and he rips it. 96 exit velo. It's 8-6. Angels right back in this game. Unfortunately, they couldn't stage a big enough comeback. The home run in the bottom of the 6th certainly hurt to make it 9-6. And from there, the Angels still put up a fight. Kevin Pillar forgot he even existed. Hits a first pitch slider from Neris for a home run. It's 9-7. Back-to-back singles after that. The tying runs on first base. But Matt Dice strikes out. Campero flies out. And then Brandon Drury's pitch hit. And what do you think happens? Absolutely nothing. Inning over. And from there, the game really felt over, unfortunately. But I'm proud of this lineup. I really am. This team so many times has rolled over when they fall behind, but not tonight. And they deserve their credit. We're going to take our last break here. When we get back, I'll get to your comments. I'll have some last takeaways. We'll look to the rest of the schedule, see if the Angels can get those 67 wins. We're praying it can somehow happen. We'll be right back here on the Locked On Angels Postcast. Now, finally, today's show is brought to you by FanDuel. Now, you hear me talk a lot about FanDuel. It's America's #1 sportsbook, so why wouldn't I? But I have something a little bit different for you right now through September 22nd, which is coming up this Sunday. So you got to take advantage before the offer runs out. All FanDuel customers can bet $5 and get a 3-week free trial of NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. Then with the YouTube TV base plan, you'll be able to watch every regular season Sunday afternoon out-of-market game. All you need is a Google account and a current form of payment, and you can cancel any time. So just visit FanDuel.com and download America's #1 sportsbook. I love FanDuel. I certainly love Sunday Ticket, and I love YouTube a lot as well. I am a YouTube TV NFL Sunday Ticket subscriber. I also have YouTube Premium, so I love YouTube TV. I love YouTube Premium. As Angels Win says, what a deal. So take advantage of this great offer from FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Back here live one more time on Locked On Sports Los Angeles YouTube channel. This is the Locked On Angels Postcast. I am Gavin Carlson. I just completed my first full week as a full-time employee, so celebrating that. Also very tired with that. A lot of talk here in the chat we'll get to right now. Jeff, always in here as always. He says, another loss this season can't end soon enough. I know, we already talked about Roger saying that the kids fought. They definitely did. The kids and Jack King. Not Jack King. Jack Lopez, excuse me. He certainly fought as well. Otani in the chat, as always. Again, we know what he did yesterday. Useless Trucker informing me that he hit homer number 52, calling him the MVP. Look, no bad blood for me here as an Angels fan. I know some might have it, but I don't. We're not going to get into it. I understand why he left, and I'm happy for him. I genuinely am. He'll always be remembered, hopefully, as a great Angel and a great Dodger. Not just a great Dodger, because most of his we'll see what happens the next 10 years of his $1 billion deal. But for now, he's done more as a Angel than a Dodger. So I hope is that he gets remembered as both and not just a Dodger. That's all I have to say on that. Useless Trucker says, what will the Angels record be next year? I don't see much coming next year. I'm hoping for 500. There was a time at this earlier in the season where it looked like 500 was a possibility. That's the goal for next year. Let's go 81-81, and then hopefully O'Hoppe, Neto, Shanuel, Moniak, Adele, Christian Moore at some point, Jose Soriano, Caden Dana, Jack Koharnowitz, all those got Reed Detmers, O'Hoppe, if I didn't say that already. Hopefully they all, and Ben Joyce, of course, hopefully they all flourish next season while we have the round of 500 season so that we can attract some free agents next summer and then make a chase. In 2026. That's probably my goal, because 2025 is probably not happening. More talk about Ohtani. Angels win says our only hope for this season is getting the number 1 pick, I guess. He says, what a deal. We already talked about that. Dodgers going to win 92 tonight. The World Series is coming to LA. Yeah. Angels win says another Dodgers troll. Everyone knows the Dodgers will choke again in the playoffs. The Dodgers still won't win the World Series, and that makes me happy. That's from Jeff. So yes, some just typical Angels Dodgers banter as always. But we'll wrap this one up by looking at the schedule for those who haven't seen the recent shows and quickly talk about the road ahead. 2 more against the Astros and Houston. Would love to see the Angels just split one of those 2. They very easily could have won this game tonight. The record, by the way, I forgot to mention, is 62-92 officially, 30 games under 500. The road to 67 needs 5 wins. Here's my point of view. Split one of the next 2 against Houston. You have to sweep the White Sox next week. Got to win all 3 against the White Sox. That gives you 4 wins. And then all you have to do is win 1 of 3 against the Rangers, and you get to 67. You'll be 67-95, which is ties for the most losses in a season, 95. And then is not the least amount of wins in that season, because the Angels only won 65 games in that year. They only played 160. So win 1 of the next 2 against Houston, sweep the White Sox, the worst team I've seen ever, and then win 1 of 3 against the Rangers. You won 67 games. You not only avoided 100, but you avoided the worst season in Angels history. That's my take on the matter. But with all that being said, shout out to everybody in here. We will wrap this one up. Angels lose a tough one, 9-7, a high-scoring game. Shout out to the offense. Not a shout out to Tyler Anderson and the pitching staff. We'll wrap up with this comment from Angels Win. He says, get some sleep, Gavin. UCLA has a tough one against LSU. Yes, I will get some sleep. I'm actually recording a video, or uploading, a video on my personal channel. So go over to GAV, the YouTube channel. If it doesn't pop up right away, look up GAV UCLA. It should pop up on YouTube. Subscribe if you haven't already. And I have 2 great videos up there already that got over 250 plus views on each of those, which is great for a small channel. Shout out again to the over 5,000 people that watched my Locked On UCLA postcast. That is unbelievable. And I'll be live tomorrow for the Locked On UCLA postcast after that game against LSU. So be on this channel right after the game. Go check out my personal channel to see the videos I have coming up and already. And shout out to everybody in here. Appreciate you all so much. Take care. Rough night for the Angels, but hopefully it's a great rest of your Friday night, a great weekend. And as always, go Angels. Take care, everybody.